Hello everyone and welcome to the next episode. Today we'll be building some kind of recipe search. If you got something stuck in your refrigerator, you should use that API and code along with me. We'll be using Node.js, some kind of API. You will see what type. It's of course free, and Express.js and EJS for frontend. But to that we'll go later on. First of all, how our application will look like and work. So we've got the basic landing page and we can check and look, for example, for tomato, because we've got tomato at our refrigerator. And right now, as you can see, API just get back some kind of recipes that we can use. Okay, we'll just go there. We've got ingredients and instructions how we can build it step by step. So okay, what will we need? First of all, we'll need Node.js. I hope you've got installed. If not, I assure you to go to nodejs.org and download the long-term support version. It's that one. And of course, we need Express.js to handle our routes. It's for me the best framework for Node.js. It's not an advertisement or something like that, but I really like Express.js. Of course, we'll need also Axios to based to handle our promises to our responses that we'll get from our API. The API we'll be using is Spoonacular API. To use that API, you should go to spoonacular.com and there register and create your account. After you confirm your email, you should be able to get to the application, and the console that you can see right now will show also to you. Okay, we've got the dashboard. We've got like 150 quotes for free. If you would like to have bigger amounts, you should go to the pricing and see how long and how much it will be costing you. Of course, we will be interested in our profile and in our API key. So we'll just generate new, don't worry, we'll copy it and later on we'll need it. Of course, if you've got everything done, well, you should go to Node, to your IDE, in my case is Visual Studio Code, create some folder, and we are ready to start the coding. The next thing that you can do is at the description you can find out the CSS styles, because we'll not handle that in that episode. I just give you for free. You can just download, copy, paste whatever you would like to and create at your folder public and style CSS. I will later on tell you why that. Okay, so when you are just done with it, navigate to your terminal, and inside that terminal you should initialize your Node.js application by npm init-y. Wait a second, our Node.js application is initialized, and right now we should install some dependencies. So our dependency will be Express, EJS, and Axios. EJS will handle our frontend application. We can call it frontend because we need something that will help us to handle dynamic websites. Okay, the dependencies are done. We've got it installed. Right now, inside our Node folder, the main folder, we should create index.js. And inside that index.js, we'll handle the whole logic of our application. So first, we need Express. Just import it. So also, we'll just need Axios to handle our promises and our HTTP requests. And the last one, EJS, to handle our frontend. Okay, first we initialize Express. Then we should get our API key and we paste it over here. If you don't remember, from where we get that? Here you got your API key that you can easily copy, paste. Everyone got the secured API key, so you should use your own. Okay, so when we just got our API key, we should set, because we have to set our front end, the views, the front end that we will just handle in EJS. So we have to talk and say to Node.js, hey, as a view engine, please use EJS. And it's almost that easy. But we'll need something more because we are using a static file, I mean the CSS, so it's inside public. That's why we call it public over here. Okay, the next thing, we have to take care of the request that we'll send. We'll just get back from the server and to the server we'll send. To do that, we'll need to call the URL encoded by Express and extended to false. And the last thing, to let our application work, we should, for example, create some port like 3000 and set the listener to our application if everything's working correctly. So console.log server is running. And to be honest, that's all that we need for now. Okay, we set the EJS, we handle and set our Express, and right now we should handle and get the routes. So app.get, because we would like to get the the first and the most important search bar where we'll be watching for recipes. We should get app.get and then a request response and rest.render index. We'll later on create EJS file called index. Next, we will need post to post our search. And to do that, we'll need request and response. Okay, we'll handle that via form. So we'll make some form action and we'll send as a slash search. I mean, that one will be called from form as an action. And of course method post, but we will go later on to that. Okay, first, as the query that we'll get from request.body, we have to do that URL encoded to get access to our query from that form that we'll send. And the next one is response that we'll get from Axios that get, and right there we will need to get the URL from our application. So go to the documentations. I've got open it over here. When you just go to the documentations and full documentation, the first link is what we are looking for. So the complex search for the recipes, and just copy it, paste it over here. And the next thing that we'll need to have is the query, because we'll just search in that way for our recipe. So query equals $. Okay, we have to change quotes to handle our $sign. And right there, we just get query and of course, and API key, because we have to use it. So $sign and API key API. I call it like, but we'll stay with that key API. And the last thing, we need to get the recipes. and it will be response that data that, and we'll scroll to the end almost, and it will be results that we'll need it. We'll need mostly ID, but also we will use the rest of that application as well. So right there, we'll just get results, and we will render that site. We'll call it results, and we'll pass recipes. Okay, we're almost good to go. The last thing, we would like to get application, get route, sorry, and recipe ID, and async request response. And right there, we'll get our ID from our route, I mean that one. So request.params and const response equals await, also axios.get, and we'll need the get for our recipe information. So I mean that one. You are good to go to get to the documentations, copy it also, copy and paste over here. Of course, the last thing that we'll need to change is the quotes to let us use $sign over here to pass the variable. And of course, API key will pass $sign as key API. And almost the last one, const recipe, because we will just got one recipe, and a response, not data, because that's what it will give us. So rest.render, we'll call it recipe, and we'll pass recipe to that. And right now we are good to go with our index.js, and that's all that we'll need to. The next thing is to handle and create our, we can call it front end. So we'll create a views folder in the main application, and inside our views folder we'll create index.ejs is the first one that we are going to render, and right there we will create HTML file. Of course, we are going to use the style sheet, so we can connect to that by styles.css, because the main folder is public. That's why we only need /style.css, and the styles will get over there. Okay, we'll call it recipe search, and inside our body we'll create h1 recipe search. Okay, also we will need div class container over there for our recipe search. The next thing, we'll need form. As I said, action will be to search, and method will be post. Okay, we need input, only one, so it will be our text. Name will be query, that's how we call it, and placeholder search. That's all. And of course, I forgot about button with type submit and search recipe. And with that in mind, we've created our index.ejs. So the two EJS file we have to also create, I mean results and recipe. So the next one, we can create, for example, results. So results.ejs. Of course, we also need to link it to styles.css. And when we just link it to styles.css, we should and have to write our logic. So div class container, container. Okay. And over here we create h1 search result, and we'll go through. So we need angle bracket and percentage sign to pass our variables inside our EJS. So that's the difference between static HTML and that dynamic HTML, we can call it, by that we can just pass the variables that will change over time. So we pass recipes, and for each recipe, okay, we can just go there to make it more clear. We should create and go there and close that line, because each line has to be closed right now. Oh, I forgot, we have also, when we are creating list, we should create, for example, right now we'll create unordered list. Okay, just go there and we will pass the UL. Okay, and right now we will create the results that we'll get from our search bar. So each result will be the hyperlink that we can click and go to our recipe ID and get the specific recipe that we would like to have. Okay, so we just created the recipe/recipe ID, as you can see over. If I remember good, it was search, and we will just go there and we'll just receive that ID that we will pass over here. The next thing that we need is to make some styles to that. So it will call recipe card, and image class, it will call recipe image. Source will be our recipe. Recipe that image. Okay, and the last one will be old. It will be our recipe that title. And we are good to go with that image. The next thing that we will need is the h2 tag with class recipe title, and we will pass here the recipe title. Okay, we are almost good to go, but also we need over here to close it. And to close it, we have to open angle brackets, percentage sign, and close angle bracket. And right there, we'll just get href to the main page and back to the home page. Okay, we've got our results done. The last thing that we need to create and we need to do is create new file over here. It will be our recipe.ejs. So once again, we create our HTML file. We'll link it to our styles.css, and of course we should be ready to go with our div class container, and inside that container we'll need some information. So first, as you may remember, there is some title of that recipe. So we'll pass the recipe, that title. Okay. The next thing that we'll need, image source. Okay, percentage sign equals recipe.image, and of course auth we should provide and we will provide to be secure, recipe.title, and we are good to go with our images. Next we'll need ingredients, and to make it happen we'll make also unordered list, and right there I will stop for a minute because we'll need, as I remember, extended version, but to work together from the API we just go there and okay, extended ingredients that we will be using over there. So copy that and recipe that and paste extended ingredients, and for each ingredient we will get through that and return the ingredient.original that we'll also need over here. And the last thing that we'll need is to close our for each loop. So well, we close it and we close JS tag as well. The next thing and the last one is instruction. How to create and how to do that. So we'll use order list and we'll go through recipes that, and we'll need to analyze instructions. Okay, we'll paste it over here. The first one only, the steps that will be there, and for each step we will need to create that one, but also we need one more thing. Okay, and close it because we are using for each over here. So we will close it, and inside our steps we'll list them by step, and we close it. Also we need to add JS tags over here, and if you would like to have, we should have some go back button, go home, we can call it as we would like to. And with that in mind, we'll see what is wrong with our application, or is it working correctly. So node index.js, we run our application, we should close that 4000 that I just used, that 3000. As you can see, we've got our recipe search. We can search, for example, for garlic, search recipe. We've got garlic shrimp, etc. And inside that, we've got our ingredients and instructions. Of course, we can go home and everything's working as it should. So I hope you liked that episode. And if you got any questions, please go to the comment sections and have a good day. See you at the next episodes. Bye.